Hey guys, today on People Now, 30 days sober. Luann de Lesseps gets real about her rehab stay and what she drank the night she relapsed.
Beyonce and Jay-Z paid tribute to the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, as the legendary singer is reportedly gravely ill.
Ariana Grande and James Corden performing the plot of Titanic, and guys, it is amazing.
Meghan Markle's father ruffling royal feathers yet again with his latest revelations.
Plus, Broadway star and American Idol alum David Cook is here live, giving us a glimpse into his life as the star of Kinky Boots.
It's all today on People Now.
Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome to People Now. So good to see you. Welcome back.
I know, I was stuck in Wisconsin.
You made it.
I did. I got on a flight.
She rode a horse all the way. So all you James Corden and Ariana Grande fans out there probably still buzzing after Monday night's hilarious sketch on the Late Late Show. It was really funny.
Good. Ariana and James recreated the classic Titanic scene, leaving the audience and Twitter fans dying of laughter. We still can't get enough of it either. We have more on that later in the show. But the performance between the pals has us wondering, what's your favorite movie scene to reenact with your friends?
You can tweet us your answer with the hashtag PeopleNow. You might see it on the show. We're going to check your responses a little later. But for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending for today. The battle between President Trump and former White House aide Omarosa Manigault Newman continues. On Tuesday, the president launched yet another attack on the one-time Apprentice star, calling her a, quote, crazed, crying lowlife, adding good work by General Kelly for quickly firing that dog. The attack comes in response to Manigault Newman's allegations that the president is in mental decline and can be heard using the N-word on an alleged tape recording. Her book, Unhinged, an insider's account of the Trump White House, was released Tuesday and levels numerous claims against the president. Trump directly addressed the allegation that they're repeatedly using the N-word in outtake footage from his NBC reality show. He tweeted this: Mark Burnett called to say that there are no tapes of The Apprentice where I use such a terrible and disgusting word as attributed by wacky and deranged Omarosa. I don't have that word in my vocabulary and never have. She made it up. Look at her many recent quotes saying such wonderful and powerful things about me, a true champion of civil rights, until she got fired. Omarosa had zero credibility with the media. They didn't want interviews when she worked in the White House. Now that she says bad about me, they will talk to her. Fake news. Manigault Newman told Meet the Press on Sunday that although she writes she'd only heard about the tapes from the multiple sources, she's since listened to the comments herself, explaining, quote, I heard this voice as clear as you and I are sitting here. She doubled down on her claims during an interview with today's Savannah Guthrie, commenting, the people who have this tape intend to release it. A rep for Burnett, who produced The Apprentice, did not immediately respond to People's request for comment. You can stay on People.com for any updates on this story. Guys, Real Housewives of New York City star Luann de Lesseps sat down with NBC's Megyn Kelly on Tuesday for her first interview since leaving rehab 10 days ago, opening up about the emotional night that she relapsed on alcohol. Take a look.
I had a girlfriend with me, and I said, and she goes, I love making watermelon martinis. I said, I'm in. I used to drink those at Bungalow 8 years ago, and I loved them. Anyway, I had 2 or 3 of those. Then I had, I think, 2 bottles of rosé by myself. And then I had probably a 6-pack of beer or something. Mm-hmm. I can't even tell you. I told you, I can't have one drink. I was like down, and I was still, I was dancing in my kitchen with a bikini on and a Panama hat.
In the same interview, de Lesseps says she is, quote, almost allergic to alcohol, explaining she can't just have a glass or 2 of wine, instead admitting, quote, I'll drink the whole bottle. She says she's been sticking to mocktails and what she calls mockatinis and learning to enjoy going out to eat without alcohol on the table. Now, as for Real Housewives, de Lesseps says she will not appear in this season's reunion, even though she admits she loves how candid reunion episodes can be, but she was in rehab at the time of the taping. She says simply, I had to take care of myself first. De Lesseps will celebrate 30 days sober this week on Wednesday, says she's feeling, quote, good, and she says great, actually. But she admits every day is a struggle, so she's still attending AA meetings and is taking it very seriously. She also reveals to Kelly that she has gained a whole new family in that support network. All right, guys, superstar couple Beyonce and Jay-Z are paying tribute to the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, dedicating their Monday night concert at Detroit's Ford Field to the ailing music legend. Shortly after her opening number, Beyonce explained to the crowd, this show is dedicated to Aretha Franklin. We love you and thank you. And this is according to a tweet from the concert venue. Show opener DJ Khaled also added his voice to the tribute, leading the crowd in a sing-along of Franklin's 1967 hit, Respect, according to fans and videos from that event. Now, Detroit is a special city for Franklin. The Memphis-born singer currently lives there, and it's also where she began her career singing gospel in her father's church. Meanwhile, Franklin has a connection of her own to Beyonce. Back in 2014, Franklin covered one of Queen Bee's songs on her album, Aretha Franklin Sings the Great Diva Classics. And she told Meredith Vieira on a visit to her talk show at the time they had a, quote, mutual admiration society going. Now, Franklin added, she's a hard worker, and that's what I really like about her. You can see it in her presentation that she's put some time and energy into it. That was her quote. People reported on Monday that Franklin was in a health crisis, with a friend of the artist explaining that the singer has been, quote, ill for a long time and that her loved ones have been warned that her death is imminent. Later in the day, Franklin's nephew Tim spoke to People, saying that his aunt was surrounded by her loved ones and resting at home, adding she's alert, laughing, teasing, and able to recognize people. Amid headlines that Franklin is gravely ill, Tim tells People that while the singer is sick, her family's, quote, trying to keep her spirits up and go from there. You can stay on People.com for all the latest updates on that story as well. Andrea, you have more for us in Star Trek.
Yes, we are kicking off Star Trek with an unsinkable late night sketch. Take a look at this.
My heart will go on.
Oh, it's so good. Ariana Grande stopped by James Corden's The Late Late Show on Monday night, and the two showed off their musical chops with a 5-minute performance of the entire plot of Titanic, all told through song. James kicked off the segment by nervously announcing, we've got 13 songs, 9 sets, 1 take, and 0 pressure. And they nailed it. They managed to pack the entire story from the 1998 film through performances of songs like Come Sail Away by Styx, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You for that painting scene, and even rickrolling the audience with Ariana's Rose declaring to James's Jack that she was never going to give him up. The iceberg appeared to Vanilla Ice's Ice Ice Baby, sensing a theme here, and the boat went down to Kesha's Timber. And this was all sung live by James and Ariana. Now, don't forget that the Late Late Show host is quite the performer himself. He's a Tony Award winner and appeared in the 2014 musical film Into the Woods. He flawlessly kept up with Ariana throughout their set changes and choreography. And if you love this performance, we haven't seen the last of Ari on the Late Late Show. Her carpool karaoke is set to premiere on Wednesday. Can't wait for that. Well, one of the world's most famous duos have come together. Well, at least their sons did. Sean Ono Lennon, son of the late John Lennon and Yoko Ono, posted a selfie to Instagram on Monday with James McCartney, the son of Paul McCartney, and he captioned the picture, Peekaboo. And if you take a closer look, peeking out of the corner of the picture is a guitar, so fans are left to wonder if the sons of the famous singer-songwriters will be working on music of their own. We can't get over how closely the two resemble their fathers. James even mastered the small smile that his father gives on occasion. We're loving the duo and hoping that some music collaboration is going to happen. Who knows? Maybe it's just a tease. So for now, we'll just let it be.
Let it be.
Yep, that's what I did there. Those are your Star Treks for today.
All right, guys, stay with us. Our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber, giving us the scoop on Prince Harry's solo trip to Botswana, plus Kinky Boots star and American Idol alum David Cook is here live, talking all things Broadway and answering your fan questions. Stick around for that.
All right, so we're still loving that whole sketch with Ariana Grande and James Corden, the recreation of the classic Titanic scene on The Late Late Show on Monday night. We've been asking what's your favorite movie scene to reenact with friends. So let's check in on some of our responses. Oh yeah, Mean Girls.
That's maybe at least the most commonly quoted,
Yes,
right? Among
think
people
so.
that I know, for sure.
Another Twitter user says, my sister and I reenact almost every scene from Billy Madison when we're together. Very vulgar, our mom hates it, yeah.
Another Twitter user asked, does it count as recreating scenes from Sex and the City when my friends and I get together to drink wine and gossip?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. We're officially crowning you reenacting.
Keep sending in your favorite movie scenes, but for now, back to this.
Well, guys, Prince Harry has returned to Botswana, the country where he and his wife Meghan Markle reportedly fell in love. But this time he is there without Meghan. Why, you might ask? Well, here with the answer to that question and more is our royal correspondent, Imogen Lloyd-Webber. Thank you for being here.
Of course, good to see you.
Great to see you. What is Prince Harry doing in Botswana this time? Break it down.
Oh, Prince Harry has been visiting the rhino conservation charity that he became patron of last year. The newly minted Duke of Sussex is on the private working trip to attend a board meeting and a community project for Rhino Conservation Botswana. The Duchess of Sussex is not with her husband on this trip. They did spend her recent birthday together last weekend at a wedding of close pals. Prince Harry has done much work with Africa over the years. He has gone on 2 previous rhino conservation trips, worked on an elephant relocation project in Malawi, and is even the president of African Parks, a group that manages national parks and protected areas across Africa. On the human side of things, he also founded his charity Centre Bali back in 2006 to support young people impacted by HIV in Botswana and Lesotho.
Yeah, lots of good work going on there. We know Botswana is really significant for Harry, but why is it? What made him fall in love with the country?
Africa has long been a go-to place for Harry, who has visited the continent since his teens and refers to it as his second home. He says he feels more like himself there than anywhere else in the world. It's where he took Meghan on their third date, as you do.
As you do in your role.
And where they reportedly fell in love. The centre stone of her engagement ring is a conflict-free diamond from the African country.
So many personal connections there. Now, guys, moving on to this. Here at People, we are gearing up for the premiere of The Story of the Royals. And the new documentary, friends, experts, palace insiders, they're all taking us behind the royal curtain for a candid look at the exciting evolution of one of the world's most famous families. And in honor of that, this week's People on newsstands now is exploring the story of the most prominent royal women, like Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Former press secretary to the Queen, Charles Anson, tells People what he really thinks of Camilla. What does he say, Imogen?
He praises Camilla as someone who, quote, kind of jollies her husband and doesn't let him get too overburdened by the woes of the world.
Jolly's her husband. I love that.
Absolutely. Camilla and Charles wed in 2005, although they first met in 1970, sharing an instant connection. Anson believes she'll make a great Queen consort. It's still actually up in the air whether Camilla will take the title officially when Prince Charles becomes king. When the pair originally got engaged, mindful of public opinion, it was announced that Camilla would take the secondary title of Princess Consort. The situation is by no means clear-cut, and I think everyone is very mindful of the esteem that Princess Diana is held to this day.
Really interesting there. Also in this week's issue, a surprising connection that's explored between Meghan Markle and one of America's most famous attorneys. Explain this.
Yeah, we knew Meghan's activism started at a young age. At age 11, she was inspired to change that Procter & Gamble TV commercial, which advertised its ivory dishwashing soap solely to women. Meghan wrote to, amongst others, Gloria Allred, as well as Procter & Gamble, who updated the ad to say people instead of just women. Allred says Meghan was, quote, action-orientated and wanted to know what she could do.
Wow, really interesting. Nickelodeon actually had 12-year-old Meghan on to talk about that influential letter that she wrote. Should we watch maybe just a little bit?
bit of a
Just for
throwback.
old time's sake. We may have seen it, but let's take a look.
If you see something that you don't like or are offended by on television or any other place, write letters and send them to the right people, and you can really make a difference for not just yourself, but lots of other people.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's amazing, isn't it? Meghan made headlines, of course, recently after she declared herself a feminist on the British monarchy's website. But it was on levels no surprise to us after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we go, though, let's talk about this. Once again, Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, in the headlines this week for another interview he gave with the Daily Mail on Sunday. This comes, by the way, after about a month since he told The Sun that his interview with them would be his last interview. It appears he has more to say. What does he reveal this time?
He revealed new details about his phone conversations with Prince Harry, including that he once hung up on the royal while talking about staged paparazzi photos ahead of his daughter's royal wedding. He also said he lied to Harry, denying that the pictures were a collaboration with photographers. Prince Harry apparently told Thomas that he shouldn't go to the press and it would end in tears. Unfortunately, this seems to be the case.
I'm about to tear up because he keeps talking.
Enough.
I just wanted to stop.
Yeah.
Thank you, Imogen. Good to talk to you. Stay on People.com for all the latest royal updates. And don't forget to tune in to the People and ABC two-night event, The Story of the Royals, beginning on August 22nd.
Blake Shelton is opening up about one of the men who influenced his musical career and reflects on getting to work with him in this week's People Now Heroes, sponsored by Extra Gum. Take a look.
My heroes have started to become my good friends, and I got to say that the handful of really close friends that I have, those are my heroes. That they're the ones that'll just drop anything to be there for you if they need to be, and I hold them high. My musical hero has always been Earl Thomas Conley. Well, I remember at the CMA Awards that, before it started, they put those booklets under everybody's chair that's like the history of the CMA, and I looked through to see who all has won Male Vocalist of the Year since the beginning, and I noticed Earl Thomas Conley never won that award, and I just assumed that surely he must have, and because he's my favorite, he has to be the winner, right? And then that night I happened to win Male Vocalist of the Year, and so I mentioned his name on stage and dedicated the award to him. And he's just an incredible vocalist, and I feel like underrated. He texted me and said he appreciated that. Said it had been a lot of years since he had heard his name mentioned from that stage. Earl Thomas Conley and I actually wrote my second single together that ever came out. Is called All Over Me.
She was all over me.
When I signed to Giant Records, they said, is there anybody in the world that you can think of that you want to write with, and we'll at least try to put that together for you as your record company? And I said, Dan Seals and Earl Thomas Conley. And I ended up getting right with both of them. And but the Earl song ended up being my second single.
All right, guys, grab your favorite pair of shoes, warm up those vocal cords because Kinky Boots star and American Idol alum David Cook is in the building. What's up, David?
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We just found out that you're living in Times Square, living it up.
Working there, living there, doing the thing. Hey, congrats on the success here of Kinky Boots. It's got to feel good. Your second time returning to the show, 5-week stint in the spring. You play the lead, Charlie Price. You shaved your beard for it. You got all pared down. So what's been your, I don't know, the favorite part of the production for you? What do you like the most?
I think just a chance to kind of stretch a different muscle. You know, I've been fortunate enough for the last 10 years to be a musician and play music and all that. But to really get to kind of cut my teeth with the acting side of things has been fun.
Was Broadway on the bucket list a long time ago, or did it just sort of become a thing?
I think acting in general was kind of on the bucket list.
Yeah.
You know, there were some opportunities coming off of Idol immediately that I wasn't able to take advantage of just because the machine and the schedule and all that. And kind of, Kinky Boots and I had kind of been circling the wagons on each other for a few years. But I think we had been talking as early as 2015, maybe.
Okay.
And then this pocket opened up to try it, and it's been just a blast. I think just to get to attack a character like this, where there are some similarities. You know, there's some stuff to lean on, but I think there's some things about Charlie that really present a challenge for me, and to get to help tell that story is awesome.
It's a really fun show. We want to know, what's your assessment of walking in heels, though? have you mastered it at this point?
Mastered is a strong word. I've always had an appreciation for people that wear uncomfortable shoes because I have giant feet. So, but I have a new appreciation for it. I actually, I think it was Saturday evening show, I broke one of the heels.
Oh, you did?
Right at the beginning of the final number, and had to do the whole last number like
limping
on the toe. So,
oh my gosh.
it's yeah, hats off to you.
See, it's not easy. No. We actually have a fan question. One user wants to know, how long does it take you to change into your red thigh-high boots during a show?
I basically have, so there's I have this phone call scene where where Charlie's calling Lola, and then I run off stage and I have, I guess, however long Jay Harrison's song is, maybe 2.5 minutes to change, like full costume and into the boots. So it's a quick change, but
you rock 'em.
I've got it down to a science.
Yeah, you got it. You're doing it. And I would imagine the boots, they're your size. Do you get to keep those?
I wish.
Oh, come on. You gotta sneak away.
I wanted to bronze them like baby shoes.
Yeah, right. Put them somewhere.
They stay at the factory on the off chance that I get to come back again.
We'll see. All right, you're buttoned up, clean shaven. We mentioned this. You also have to hide all the tattoos, right?
Yeah,
that's a thing for you as this sort of extrovert, this rocker that we got to know you as on Idol and through your music since. What's the strangest or most foreign part of the Charlie transformation?
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's really just, I think Charlie, there's this inner turmoil with Charlie throughout the whole play that kind of comes out and culminates in the second act. But really it's just fighting that internal battle through the entire show. He's being pulled in two different directions, you know, the family business and then moving to London with his fiance. And that's always the challenge for me, is really trying to find that headspace every night.
Yeah. Well, you do a great job. As I said, I just saw it last week. Fantastic.
We saw on Instagram you have some famous friends who came to visit. Carrie Underwood was just there in May. We obviously love her here at People. Cyndi Lauper actually wrote the show. She came. So this is kind of performing in front of the boss. So how do you not get in your head when she's an audience? Like, what goes through your mind knowing she's there?
I think that's the most frightening idea ever.
Well, one of my favorite stories is actually, so my first run, Kirsten Maldonado from Pentatonics was playing Lauren. And Lauren has this number, History of Wrong Guys, while I'm sitting up in this office. And then after the number, she comes up in the office and we have a chance to chat with no mics on or whatever. And she comes up and she goes, thank God that's over. I was like, why, are you sick? Like, what's wrong? And she goes, oh no, Cindy's in the crowd tonight. I had no idea. And I still have, like, I have the second act number coming up, and so the whole second act, I was just like,
yeah, right.
Don't mess up the words. But man, she's been, Cindy's been incredible. I've gotten a chance to talk to her a few times, and she's always been really complimentary, which is like kind of
I feel like
pinch me moment.
I feel like you get that first performance with her in the audience out of the way, and then you're like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, anytime I have somebody I know in the audience, it always adds a little element of anxiety. My mom came to the show last run, and Within 5 minutes, I'd fallen down the stairs on stage.
Like, Mom, never come again.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
One of the main messages of the show is that we as human beings are a lot more alike than we think. What's something you've learned since stepping into this role, and what will you take with you after that final vow?
I think this show, for me, this show's acceptance and inclusion and celebrating differences. And man, in a climate where I feel like we could probably use a lot more of acknowledging and embracing those concepts. So I feel like the show's just as poignant as ever, and to get to tell that story and be a part of this cast. I mean, there's so many great people, so much great talent. Man, it's such an honor. Yeah.
All right, let's ask this really quick. I want to talk about American Idol just a little. Posted a sweet message on the night of this year's finale. No, listen, you posted the message.
I'm kidding.
It's been 10 years since the big win.
Yeah.
What sticks out about your time on the show now?
You know, it's funny. It's one of those things. Like, every time I've been fortunate enough to go back since then, it's still such a fraternity. It's still such a
Look at that guy. Look at that guy.
Oh boy, I am so tired in that photo. That was like 36 hours up. It's such a cool family, and a lot of the same people behind the scenes are still there. So. I loved my time on that show, except for that haircut.
You're going on an acoustic tour later this fall. Why acoustic? I mean, is this going to be kind of a piece of cake after 8 shows a week on Broadway?
It's just going to be different. The Broadway thing is a grueling schedule, but I think it's a different style of singing. The acoustic thing, I'm excited just to go out and present these songs in a different format. You know, I've done the full band thing now for a while, so to get to look back on these songs, tell the story behind them, all that.
Real quick, we're out of time. Fan question. Back on Broadway again, ever in the future, after this run?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Okay,
all right.
it's open. There you go. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
Great to see you. You guys check him out on Kinky Boots on Broadway right now, and look out for him on tour this fall. The acoustic tour.
I know. All right, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.